What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Professor Anime. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, guys, I'm here to bring you all my review for Berserk 2016, episode 7. So let's get it started. So I don't know about you guys, but I personally felt that this was one of the better episodes that we have had when it comes to Berserk 2016. This is probably the second episode in which I was just hyped to see, and I had a good time watching it, because, like, the amount of comedy in this episode, and also the amount of hype surrounding this episode, from, especially if you have read the manga, where we get to see the reunion of Guts and Casca again, you know, it's just awesome to see. It really was awesome to see. So in this episode of Berserk, we see Guts finally arrive at Albion, in which he is looking for Casca, obviously, and he ends up getting into a confrontation with some of the members of the Holy Iron Chain Knights, and completely picks a fight with them and demolishes the living crap out of 4 soldiers, because he ain't playing around. He wants his woman. Luca was actually in the confrontation as well, as she was trying to rescue a former friend and also a fellow prostitute who was apparently being accused by this group of the Holy Iron Chain Knights. But due to Guts dealing with them, they no longer had to worry about the problem. And it comes to find out that Luca actually notices the brand on Guts' neck and soon says, you know what, you have this brand, this sort of symbol, just like our Elaine does, or Casca. And that is when Guts ends up going up to Luca and says, you know where she is? Tell me where she is now. And then we end up getting to the point in which they end up arriving at Luca's tent, and Nina and also Casca are no longer to be found. Now, the whole reason why Nina and Casca are no longer in the tent is because, well, I guess Nina took her out for a little adventure, you would say. Mainly for Nina to start her life anew, it seems like, because she took all of her things with her, including Elaine, Casca. And I guess the whole reason why she did this in the first place is because, as we have seen Nina in these past few episodes of Berserk, is that she's a very troubled person, and also she is ill. And I think she is, her body has syphilis, I believe. She has been brought upon the illness of syphilis. I'm not really sure if that is true or not, or if it's another sort of condition her body has, but that is why we see her coughing up blood and, you know, just being very sickly. And she is getting tired of this. She's getting tired, and, you know, she's trying to find meaning in her life, but she doesn't know how long she has left to live when it comes to this disease. And so I guess she's trying to make the best of it by, I guess, going on a little adventure with Casca. However, we have these group of heretics end up capturing the two of them, and then they end up bringing them to the heretics' lair, in which Nina was previously at, where we saw that cave scene, quote-unquote, with Nina, and I believe his name is Jochum. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Speaking of Jochum, we actually see that Jochum is alive in this episode, which is very weird indeed, because a few episodes ago, he was presumed dead, because after what we saw with the whole cave scene where he was a few episodes ago, he ended up plummeting to his death from this cliff that he ended up falling off of. But was he dead? Was he dead? Because we end up seeing that, like, by the end of the episode, I think it was, like, at the post-credits, I'm not exactly sure, but at the end of the episode, we saw that his body was being pulled in by something lurking in the darkness. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you, I am not fully caught up with Berserk. I have made that apparent in my past reviews of Berserk. However, I am reading the chapters that are covered in each episode. So I have read all the chapters that have been covering the Berserk 2016 up to this point so far. And so I'm not, you know, really sure what's going on with Jochum right now. But if I were to actually give a theory, it would either be A, Jochum is alive right now because he is being possessed by a demon. His body is being used as a vessel. So, necessarily, Jochum is not really Jochum, okay? B is that most likely he was saved, but in return, the demon ended up giving Jochum a behelit, so that way he would have to become a demon himself. And just due to Jochum's personality, like, I don't know, I can see him end up sacrificing something, maybe like Nina, for example, because he loved Nina at a time, or maybe even something later down the line. I really don't know, but when it comes to Jochum, I mean, I'm just suspecting that, you know, there is something going on with him, because he ends up telling Farnese and some of the other Holy Iron Chain Knights that, hey, there is this little heretic lair that I know of, that I have been to previously, that I was taken a hostage at. Obviously, that is a lie, because technically Nina ended up bringing you there, but we see that he ends up telling Farnese and some of the Holy Iron Chain Knights that there is this location in which the Heretics lair is being held at. And Farnese ends up getting a word of this, as well as that Guts has arrived in Albion as well. However, she cannot take care of this because she has lost all rights to the arrest of the Black Swordsman. So her first priority is to go to the Heretics lair, and come to find out that the Heretics lair is actually the same place that Nina and Casca are being currently held at. So yeah, I'm just very curious on Jochum's character. I'm wondering why he is alive. There is definitely something up with him right now, so we'll just have to wait and to see, you know, what ends up going down as the episodes come out for Berserk 2016. But nonetheless, Jochum ends up appearing in this episode, and he ends up telling Farnese and some of the members of the Holy Iron Chain Knights that, hey, I know that there is this little Heretics lair that you guys have been hearing about. I was actually a hostage in this Heretics lair once before, but I've managed to escape, and I want to give you guys the info onto where this location is, so that way you can arrest these, you know, insane freaks, you know. But, you know, obviously this was a lie, because actually Jochum ended up going with Nina to the Heretics lair by his own free will. He was never kidnapped, of course, you know, but the Holy Iron Chain Knights ended up believing his statement, and therefore they used the information that they gathered from him to actually go to the location in which the ceremony is currently being held at the Heretics lair. Come to find out, we actually see the same group of people in the Heretics lair that ended up taking Casca and Nina, and this is also the same place in which we see the cave scene. And this is where we see stuff just blow out of proportion, and we're just like, holy shit! You know, there's a lot of stuff going on in this scene right here. I mean, we have it to where these heretics are worshipping Casca, and they are going to sacrifice Nina, and we also have it to where Isidro and Puck end up following the heretics to the location in which Casca and Nina are being held at. Puck ends up batting the hell out of the cave, and, you know, I just gotta talk about that scene really quick. The scene where Isidro says, Puck, yo, I'll hold everybody off here. You go tell Guts where Casca's location is, and do it as fast as you can. And we see Puck just fucking burst the living shit out of that cave as fast as we can. Yeah, his freaking, you know, cheeks are just everywhere all over the screen. I just thought that that was probably one of the funniest moments in the episode. So yeah, while Isidro is throwing rocks at these heretics, we have it to where Puck is just batting the hell out of the cave in order to tell Guts about Casca's location. And then, of course, the Holy Iron Chain Knights arrive at the Heretics' lair. But by the time that they arrive there, that is when shit gets real, because we end up seeing that the people who were once insane get more insane by turning into possessed demons due to the fact that we see Casca's brand end up activating. These people are chomping down on the Holy Iron Chain Knights. Even some of the heretics that survived are running for their lives as well to try to find an exit. And we end up seeing that the guy who was in the goat suit actually end up becoming a demon himself. We see this huge freaking goat just, you know, or this person being possessed by a demon spirit. He literally becomes a demon goat, you know, right then and there. And he's just, you know, completely, you know, wiping the floor with some of the members of the Holy Iron Chain Knights. And then he also ends up taking Casca and says, we need to mingle. You need to become a member of the family. And then this is where shit just gets weird, because, I mean, this guy freaking has a fucking snake as his little penis, and he's freaking slithering up to Casca. I was getting so worried for her, because that girl's been through so much, dude, and I'm just like, yo, just stop. Stop. And then that beautiful moment at the end of this episode where we see Guts just freaking BAM! Freaking just take his sword and slice the hands off of the demon goat. Like, I just got so hyped. I got so hyped because, you know, as I was watching this whole scene play out in the cave, I was just, like, my inner fanboy for Berserk was just, yo, going in. We have Guts, you know, freaking almost about to come to Casca's arrival, and then we also have Isidro, you know, and Puck also being very comical as well, but also helping out at the same time, and just the amount of bloodshed that was being showed in this episode. And then when we finally do see Guts arrive at the location in which Casca is at, we see that scene in the manga where he has his back turned to Casca and Casca's looking directly at him. Dude, oh my god, my inner fanboy, like, despite the CGI, despite the horrendous CGI, I loved this episode. I really did. To be completely honest with you, now that's what I'm all about. I'm honest with my reviews. I will tell you when a episode is complete shit, in my opinion, and I'll also tell you an episode in which I think deserves praise. And I gotta say, when it came to this episode of Berserk, it deserves its praise. Oh man, I just got so happy in this episode. My inner fanboy came out, a smile was on my face all the way up to the cave scene, and throughout the episode, I would say, and just where we see that moment with Guts end up turning his back on Casca, and Casca is looking directly at him and everything. Like, that just put a smile on my face, and it just got me so hyped. It got me hyped to actually want to see how they will animate the next episode of Berserk. And I don't know how they will handle the next episode of Berserk, because as you guys know, the animation when it comes to, when it comes to this adaptation of Berserk, it's been shaky. It's been really rough, especially in the beginning. But I'm very curious for those of you who have been keeping up with Berserk 2016 up to this point. What do you guys think about this adaptation so far? So, I'm just very curious to know. And also, what did you think about the episode? Very curious as well. Now, really quick before I go, I wanted to let you know that apparently an article was posted on Anime News Network that there will actually be 12 episodes listed for Berserk 2016. This is actually very surprising because I originally believed that there was actually going to be 24 or 26 episodes for this adaptation of Berserk. I believe that is what they had it at previously. Now, either A, they decided to, you know, cut it off short because of the fact that I guess, you know, the adaptation isn't really doing the fans justice, and that is why they are only keeping it at 12 episodes, or either B is that they might be saving the later half for Berserk 2016 to actually be incorporated into a different season, or maybe even in 2017. We really do not know. But as of right now, it seems like we are only going to get 12 episodes of Berserk 2016. So that is actually very surprising. Let me know how you all think about that as well. So yeah, with that said, I believe I am done with my review for Berserk 2016, Episode 7. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on what you thought about this episode. How do you feel about Berserk 2016 only being 12 episodes? And, of course, what do you guys feel about the adaptation so far of Berserk 2016? I'm very curious to hear your overall opinions in the comment section down below. Let me know on that. And, of course, if you like this video, don't forget to drop a like. It always helps out the channel. And if you want to stick up to date to my future content on this channel and see more Berserk reviews from me or just anything else on my channel that may be of interest to you, then hit that red subscribe button below and you will never miss a video from me. That about does it for this video, guys. Love you all, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.